They know I'm Yule. Are you Yule?
Yule. Yule. Here, and here.
That's it. All right. The business of CrossFit. So what do you think, Barb, of the business of CrossFit? What's interesting in it? What
As a
intrigues
business
you
person or as an athlete?
as a business person?
Ooh. I guess if I had my own gym, I would be interested in knowing what's the line between being profitable and being passionate about what I do.
Yeah, because you need a bit of both, but you can't just be passionate.
Yeah, it's a business.
It is. Like once you walk in the gym, you're coming to work.
Yeah.
So how would you find out this line?
I guess I talk to other gym owners and see what their experiences are. Maybe look at square footage and see if you have the option of renting out your square footage to do other services to your members.
Okay, so offer different type of classes, such as like what, maybe yoga? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're doing weightlifting, endurance, maybe
Yeah.
something for, mothers that have just had kids, that kind of thing.
Yeah, differentiating
Yeah.
the services, but different than CrossFit, or within the CrossFit kind of method, like weightlifting for CrossFit, or just weightlifting completely different than CrossFit.
I think you'd have to see your demographics and know that if your population is interested in what complements CrossFit or if they want to go a little bit further. Depends on where you are, I guess, and as I said, the demographic of your population. Are they older, younger?
Yeah, it's what the interest would be.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you wanted to start a gym, what would be your first step as a businesswoman? What would you do? Like, let's say you.
Assuming I already had the money to buy the franchise?
Well, CrossFit, the affiliation is really not that expensive.
Okay.
It's about 4,500 or so Canadian, so 3,000 US,
Yeah.
right? Plus tax and blah blah blah.
Okay, so it's manageable.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But let's say you've got 200K.
Yeah.
You know nothing about CrossFit, but you're going to pair up with a person that knows everything about CrossFit, super passionate.
So I'm going to partner right away. Is that what you're saying?
Should you?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay, you have to explain to us.
Because...
Because the reason why is because here I'm a solo owner,
Yeah.
right? It works well, obviously, but I've got great friends in Ottawa, CrossFit NCR,
Yeah.
with Paul, Pete, and Reza. They have their gym. It's a very profitable and seems to be profitable, successful gym.
Okay.
And there are three
Did
owners.
they start right away from 3?
There were 2 at the beginning. It was Paul and Reza. But when you talk to them, they're like, they swear by it. They love it. They love to have partners.
Were they all CrossFit people before they started?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that makes a huge difference. Because you don't know the business, but you have an idea of what you're getting into.
So why do you say that, a sole owner at start?
Just because...
What's the advantage from your
For
point of view?
me, not knowing the business end of it, I would want to inform myself. I'm not the kind of person that would go, even like I would trust you implicitly, but on a business, I need to know it myself. So I would want to go out there again. I need to talk to people in the community, find out what they're looking for. I wouldn't just jump into it. I'd do my homework first.
Yeah, of course. Too many affiliate owners jump into it without knowing.
Okay.
Right? They base themselves on their passion and they jump in it, and they kind of forget the business side of it.
Yeah.
They forget the needs of a community and like what people need to do, and they think that CrossFit's just going to be popular because they have their passion for exercise.
Right.
Right.
So, it's not enough though. You need the business side. Probably you need to be stronger on the business side.
But if you had someone able to run the gym, like the entire thing, and you as the investor and business person, what would you pay attention in terms of the very first things that you're going to invest? Like once you find a building,
Right.
And you know where you're going to go, because the demographic,
Yep.
You're good with,
Yep.
the population. What's the first thing you're going to pay attention to?
Coaches.
Coaches? Yeah, it's very, very important. Now, so, coaches or systems in place?
Well, that's a good point. I mean, I guess you need to look at, for me, the business side of it. If I had the business side in order, it means I've already picked my systems. I know how I'm going to work computer-wise. I know how my accounting is going to be done.
You're going to start right away with a system.
I'd have a bare bone system, understanding that it might evolve as I progress but yeah, I would like to have that all organized. Then I would go looking for my coaches.
Okay. So by system, you're meaning what's happening online.
The whole business side would be done. Yeah.
Yeah. So
the accounting, the online,
sign
the
up,
programming, all that stuff. I would have an idea how it was going to appear.
Yeah. And then you'd put people in charge of different things.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then coaches. So as a business person, like not an athlete, because you know what it is that you need from a coach. You've been here for long. But as a business person, what would you look into a coach that becomes an employee of yours?
So, as a business person, I would have a mission statement.
Okay. So you'd establish what the mission of the business is.
Yeah. And we'd make it into a short statement, and then to help me select the coaches, they would need to believe in the mission statement, what we're about.
Okay.
And I'd be looking for team players.
Okay.
People that don't think they know it all already because maybe they have 1 or 2 levels of training.
Yeah, that's always too much.
I think it's good to have people that always want to learn.
Yeah.
So I'd be looking, again, really simple, I'd be looking for a team of coaches that want to work together and evolve. As the business evolves, understanding that there's going to be changes. And that it's a startup. It's not turnkey. It's a startup.
Okay. And how many coaches do you think you need at first?
I don't know. We'd have to see how many people we think we're going to have. If you're open, part of my business plan would be that we would have to establish: are we open 7 days a week? Are we open 5 days a week? Are we open on weekends? And then that would kind of tell me what my coaching staff needs to be.
I think in Canada you need to open 7 days a week.
Okay.
A lot of people in France and in Belgium, they close on Sunday.
Okay.
I don't
Not
think
a
it's
good thing?
I don't think it's a good thing. I think you should offer classes or open gym or something, every day.
Yeah, so there's a lot to discuss then to decide whether or not your coaches, you're going to have weekend coaches, or you're going to have a rotation of the coaches. Every coach is going to take a weekend, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Now, there's a big question between how do you create a brand?
Okay.
So branding. Branding is more important than marketing to a lot of people.
What do you think the difference is?
So I heard from this guy named Stuart Brower. He has this podcast called What the Fuck Gym Talk.
Okay.
WTF Gym Talk. And he's talking about branding. He says branding, you don't create your brand. It's your members that create your brand.
Okay.
And it comes from a gut feeling. Branding is a gut feeling. It's the vibe that you're feeling when you walk in the gym. When you walk in the gym, sometimes you walk into places and you're like, oh my God, this is shady. It's like
it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right.
Okay.
Well, that's the branding because it comes from the gut feeling.
Okay.
An underground gym or here when you walk in.
The atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Very welcoming, nice looking, clean, in place. How important is branding to you in the CrossFit world? What do you think? To differentiate a CrossFit from another.
It's a first impression, so it's very important. You only get one chance to make that first impression.
Absolutely. How would you picture your gym? What would be the impression you'd like to your members to have?
That it's for everybody. It's not just for elite athletes. It's everybody at their level is welcome to train.
So if that's the first impression, how do you
transmit that?
Yeah, you walk in, how do I understand that right away?
because you have all different levels of athletes in your classes and ages.
So can you guarantee that?
No.
Any
How do you
class?
get to that? I get your question.
Yeah.
So maybe by offering, like you have onboarding, but maybe you have onboarding for, like you have master's onboarding.
Okay.
So there's a difference.
Obviously, like it's going to be a very different. So can we make it like a general onboarding? Like an onboarding that be fitting a master's athlete, so 35 and up, and that same onboarding that could be adapted because it's general for a 25 years old hockey player. So that person, both,
stay
feel,
interested.
They still, they still feel that, whoa, this is the place I need to be.
Well, I guess that's a good question because experience would dictate, and you have the experience. Can you generalize the onboarding, or do you need to make it more specific?
I think so. I think you can.
Yeah?
I think you can. It's. I heard this concept of having one of the coaches, usually it's the head coach, to be what we call the assessor.
Okay.
The assessor is the one who's going to be creating that relationship with the person, what we call the client, because it's a paying person.
Yep, your customer.
And exactly. And that assessor creates that relationship and makes sure that the person actually understands the philosophy of the place and gets hooked and stays with the person because they relate to that philosophy.
Yeah, okay.
Which is improving your general fitness, which is good for anybody.
Okay.
So I think that assessor is a
they benchmark the athletes and your onboarding. Like, do you guys look at your verbiage before you do an onboarding? Do you pick words that you're going to say that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's extremely important, and those need to be protocols written down. Almost. Yeah.
That everyone uses in your coaching staff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
If they want to be assessors.
Do you train your coaches?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah. All the time. It's very important.
Yeah, I would think so.
Say hi, bye. When are you coming back? High fives to newbies.
Philosophy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's super, super important. But the assessor is not everybody.
No.
The assessor, the on-ramp person, the onboarding, is not everybody. That's the first contact.
So do you have like a head coach?
Yep. It would be me, and then we've got Val, and we've got Eric, who are able to do those on-ramps. Like every coach could do it, but it requires an understanding of not just coaching stuff,
but physical fitness. And
yeah, well, that's an understatement. Like we understand how to coach, and every coach here obviously can coach from a beginner to an advanced athlete, but the assessor creates through that the relationship. Like a one-on-one type of. Usually personal trainers are very good at it. Those were able to sell sessions and
I was thinking it was something different. Sorry.
Okay. What were you thinking?
I thought that they were like assessing more the person as an athlete, and if they would fit into your brand.
I see. I think that physically we don't need to assess anybody to see if they fit in the place because it's for anyone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Okay.
We can teach, but we use squats.
The basic movements. Okay.
Yeah, we use those movements to make sure the person moves well, for sure, but to also create and get to know the person, the client.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, not every coach has that. Like, it's not easy to just create that relationship. You often see clients coming with issues and fear.
Okay.
It's a normal thing.
Yeah.
It's a normal thing. That's an important spot, like a job description. The assessor.
Yes.
Usually, it's the most
experience.
The most experience, or the most paid. Like that person needs to be.
They're your brand ambassador.
Absolutely. Yeah. How many coaches do you think a business needs? Like if you have let's say 200 members in a gym.
And you're open 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how you want to cycle your coaches.
Not as much as we may think, because then the coaches get to know the members.
So do you want to do like this? This I wouldn't know, but I would imagine you want to do coaches like half a day per coach.
Why not? Yeah.
And you open at 6.
I think that we need 4 coaches per day.
4 coaches per day. So how many working hours in the gym is it open?
10.
Okay.
So 10 classes per day to create options, minimum 5 people per class. We're going to have a coach in the morning, we're going to have a midday coach, and we're going to have a coach in the evening. The 4th coach would be the one supervising everything.
So what about open gym? What happens? Is there a coach for that?
The morning open gym time between the morning classes and lunchtime, there's going to be the morning coach there and the lunchtime coach.
Okay.
They're kind of overlapping.
Okay.
That 4th coach can arrive there. We call that person usually the coach manager.
Okay.
Right. And then in the afternoon, you've got the coach manager, the lunchtime coach, and the evening coach that are going to overlap.
Right.
And then for the evening, you're going to have the evening coach and the manager there. Right. So the manager is going to be there.
It's a lot of coaches.
4.
And they cover the weekends too?
No, I would have like other coaches there, or if one of them is able to. So 4 coaches per day. So a team of 4, but
including your head coach.
Including the head coach.
Okay. Yeah. So you need 6 coaches then.
About. Yeah. I would say we have 7 here just in case. It's always good to know some replacement coaches.
Yeah. And that 6 coaching staff rotation covers vacations. When people are on vacation, you can manage.
Yes. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
It's the hard part because you need to organize that. You need to organize that, like your vacation time.
What about guest coaches?
That is phenomenal. We need guest coaches. I think it's a great thing. What we don't want is a coach to become the product. You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
Yeah, because if the coach becomes a product, it's not good for the gym. It's not good for the head coach, and it's not good for the coach himself.
What do you mean by, explain that to me? How do they become the product?
So, you know how a dentist only makes money when he is practicing.
Yeah.
So if he goes on vacation, he's not actually making money.
Okay.
Unless this dentist opens a clinic and has several dentists working for him.
Okay.
And then you can establish a paying plan, blah, blah, blah. So when a dentist takes a vacation, there might still be some pay because the other dentist is still working.
Okay.
Same with the coaches. So if you become the product and people only come to your classes, which is great because you get to know your members and your clients, you get to make them evolve, but there's that fine line where the coach is if they take a vacation or if they are sick or for whatever reason can't coach, you don't have members that are disappointed, or vice versa, to have coaches that are like, oh my God, we breed when we have another coach because the style has changed. So you need to it's a fine line becoming the product but not a addictive product to your clients, because the coach takes a vacation, he's not paid, well, what's happening? Because members are not coming anymore. So
but do you solve that by having consistent coaching?
Yeah, I think that you have to develop your business by having some coaches that are going to be independent contractors. Right, so they're charged for the hour.
Okay.
You pay them for the hour, they charge you for the hour, so that's a good thing. So when they take vacation, it's fine, but then you have usually managers that are going to be employees. And employees, if they take a vacation, obviously it's like yearly vacations, they're still able to be paid, but they understand that when like a manager, when it's being replaced, when the person is being replaced, it's actually bringing positive energy in the gym, and when they come back, it also brings back another positive energy.
I would be a little bit leery of having contractor coaches because I don't think they have the same, they may not necessarily have the same passion for the business.
Implication. They might not. Well, then that's a job description you have to have. Like, at least a 5-line, like, number 1, care about the members. Number 2, respect the equipment. Number 3, make sure that you have understood what our mission is. Like, or whatever lines you would like to.
Yeah. You would go to them as an exception rather than the rule.
Yeah. And since they're contractors, you make a contract with them for a certain amount of month.
A certain amount of hours.
Or hours, yeah.
So you give them X amount of hours.
That's it. Like, for example, I'm going to give you 8 hours a week, and that's going to be for the next 3 months. In 3 months, we're going to talk again.
I again, personally, and I know you have much more experience in this than I, but I would be leery of having coaches that aren't my employees.
Yeah, like in an ideal world, 4 employees and the gym runs by itself.
Yeah, okay.
It really does. And with options on the salary, like for example, a base salary,
okay,
like a car dealership, like a base salary, but then for any retention or sign-ups, bonuses.
Oh, so there's commission.
That'd be great to create. We don't have that yet.
So right now it's a flat. Do you pay hourly or you'd pay a basic salary?
Basic salary.
Okay.
And like we're 3 employees, but one of them coaches a little less hours, but she needs to be doing the work, such as membership and retention and sign up new members.
So all your coaches do administrative work?
No, 3 of us.
Okay.
3 of us out of 7. Otherwise, it's too much to manage. But some participate. Like clinics and stuff. Like we're going to have a CrossFit weightlifting class. Well, the coach in charge will actually see what's the energy to create a clinic.
Right.
And he's going to be in charge of that. He needs to manage that.
Have you ever thought about just having an administrative person to take that away from the coaches so they can just coach and have someone that does all your paperwork and...
I do that.
Okay.
I do that. Like I help them as much as I can, but they're the ones in contact with the client. Creating clinics, creating the follow-up, with them. Yeah, it's a good thing. Now, one last question. How do you establish membership, the price? Do you look at the market? Do you look at your competition?
All of the above.
Should you match your competition? Should you be more expensive, cheaper? What do you do?
I think it's going to depend on what your business has told you when you did your business case and looked at your expenses, and then you're going to know what membership you need to break even, what membership you need to make money. So
would you establish the price of your membership because of your expenses and what it costs, or would you establish the price thinking, here's what I'm offering, here's what I'm offering, that's the price?
No, I think your business has to dictate what your price is going to be.
Okay. Which is with the expense or the service?
It's with the expense. And considering the service, I mean, you have to look at it and say, like, this is my baseline service that's included in my membership.
Okay.
And if we have a special clinic, maybe that's an additional cost. I think you need to look at working that into your balance sheet at the beginning. Okay.
So you have your spot. You know how much it's costing with everything, right?
Pretty much. You should have a very good idea.
And so once you know that number about, right? Because it's always like, changing. Yeah. Collaterals are massive usually when you start. So let's say per month you have you have running costs of $25,000. Okay. Right. So now you know how many members you need with the service you're able to provide with the team you've built.
I think you have to look at all of that, and then you have to see what does the market bear in your area.
Well. Yeah, absolutely. Should you be the leader as a business?
I'm not sure what you're asking me.
A lot of people that shop CrossFit in the West Island, for example, they come in, when they ask the price, we tell them, our price is $155 a month, $175 if you take a single month. That's tax included, and usually they're like, oh, okay. So they're surprised with the price. When they try the service, they're like, okay, well, that makes sense, right? But a lot of gyms are like, okay, well, we can't charge this. We need to charge less, and to attract members.
Okay.
Right? Should you be leading in terms of the price and the service, or should you be matching or following or even breaking prices? Like, hey, we're going to be half price from other facilities.
I think it depends on what your business plan is. If it's short-term, long-term, like your plan's going to tell you maybe you're going to ramp up.
Yeah.
So maybe you're not going to be the most expensive right away. But I think CrossFit is an established business. People know what CrossFit means. So
They still do need some education.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, so I think I wouldn't go in as the highest or the lowest. I would be covering my business plan, plus trying to make it an attractive price to get my population to a number that I want. And then as we evolve, we'll see where we need to fit in the market.
Yeah.
More established we get.
Yeah, I agree. What I did was, like, I knew barely a little bit about that number.
Okay.
A little bit. But I really established our prices for the service that we were able to do.
Yeah.
And what we were able to manage to keep that service up there, to be able to have a certain amount of members to be able to survive and pay bills and evolve as a business.
Yeah. Well, you need to know what your overhead is. Again, it all goes back to your business plan, right?
Absolutely.
And is it like, do you revisit your business plan like every quarter or how?
Yeah. You need to. You need to, because it changes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does change. It evolves. It's not like our initial business plan is really not the same as the one we're using now.
I guess not. How long is this?
9 years.
Yeah, so.
9 years. So it's a very different thing. But, you know, I thought it was the last question, but the last question is this one. When you start a business, should you have an exit plan?
Yes.
Should you know how
Yes.
you're going to end up?
Yes.
Like by selling, by
Yes.
keeping it, by, you know.
Yes.
Okay, how do you know that? Like, how do you make it? Do you say, okay, in about 10 years, here's what I'm going to do. Here's my exit plan.
Yeah.
Why? So
It's
how do you
part
know,
of
and
the
why do you
business
need
plan.
it? Like, how do you know an exit plan? How do you find out, and why do you need one?
Well, it depends when you're going into it, right? Are you planning on it being a 2-year business plan? Is it a 5-year? Is it a 10-year? So,
Well, how do you establish that, though? You know, like how a business owner would do that. How is a young entrepreneur opening a CrossFit gym able to
gonna
think
know.
about that?
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
what would you say?
So again, it would be looking at the market, looking at where your location is, seeing there's going to be similar services in the area. How are they doing? How long have they been in business? What, again, are their demographics that they support? And financially, you as a business owner, where do you want to be in 2 years?
It's true, eh? Yeah, like you know, wife, kids, and all that. Like you need to know. Like, are you able to sustain this? Is this really what you want to do for a long term?
And maybe exit plan is a harsh terminology. Maybe what you need is a succession plan.
Yeah, like
where you're working yourself out of the hands-on daily part of the business.
to be able to do on something else,
Right.
like to evolve.
Right.
Not different, but maybe to evolve.
Yeah.
To keep it exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing.
Don't know.
It's something we need to try to understand. I think a lot of CrossFit gym owners don't know, especially
And I get
in
that.
our region.
I
Yeah.
get that because
Yeah.
it's passion first, and then the business becomes like a distant second.
Comes after.
Yeah.
But it has to be both equal, especially in CrossFit.
For long term, yes. And success for everybody.
Absolutely.
For the owners, the coaches, your customers.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to be. Everybody needs to be happy and excited.
It's a lot to think about.
Yep. I guess we're going to talk more about this at the CrossFit Atlas Games.
Be interesting to hear that conversation.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm excited too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Barb.
Hey, you're welcome.